you're all just Justin.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
From the kickoff of the National State Fair, where seven liberal states have decided to not participate because they suck.
Crossed the Great Plains, scaled the mighty Rockies, tamed the Wild West, and turned this continent into industrial powerhouses like nobody has ever seen.
Yeah.
We laid down the railroads, raised up the skyscrapers, built the great highways, invented the airplane, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism.
Rock and roll and Blue Jays, don't forget that.
Yeah. We're going to have to do that again. And led humanity into space, and we did it all in the span of just 250 years.
Yeah, and we discovered electricity and the light bulb, too.
Now we are
and refrigeration.
Expanding the glory of American freedom into horizon, really into a horizon that's never been seen before. We've never reached so high as we're reaching right now. This is our heritage. This is our history. And this is the destiny of America, to be the great.
Yeah, we're not going to become a freaking socialist country.
It is most incredible country ever to grace the earth.
Yeah.
We are.
And if we started off socialist, we'd already be done. We'd already be done.
Are one people, one nation, marching into one magnificent future under our great American flag that we love and respect so much. And tonight we prepare to enter our 250th year. We are more determined than ever to make America great again. Thank you very much. Happy birthday, America. Thank you.
In contrast to the spoiled entitled child who won an election in New York, the Daycare Three socialists in New York who are going to get their asses handed to them in November. And here is one of them. This is her talking about, and by the way, all of this, all the crap that these idiots in New York and these socialists around these children around the country are attempting. They feel like they've got some sort of a mandate. Harry Hinton has a little poll about that later nationally. Ain't going to fly. That said, these adult children, including this one named Chevalier, who's been in school, trying to get her doctorate for 12 years. She's never had a job. Okay, there's no better example of academic morons who've done nothing in their lives, adult children who have never had a job, who rely on their parents, and they think they're going to take over our country. Okay, you know what? Good luck with that, because we ain't going to let it happen. Listen to this child. This child, after we just heard from the President of the United States.
Yeah, it's, I think it does a couple things, I think. Like, it ties me very personally to the fights for self-determination and sovereignty, from Puerto Rico to Palestine. I think it's so essential.
She's an anti-Semite, by the way. All three of them are rabid anti-Semites.
That we're standing in solidarity in those struggles. And I think it makes me think about immigration in a different way. We hear all these, white conservative men talk.
That's me right here. Thank you very much. I'm actually not really white. I've got a bunch of different kind of heritage in me that you just describe as being white.
About who does and does not belong here.
Yeah.
And look, this nation was founded on genocide and the mass displacement of people.
Okay, there you go. So that is what we destroyed in 2024. They think that's going to fly in the 250th birthday of the nation's creation.
It's just the history. And to say that some people cannot belong here, it's like, come on.
You can leave first.
Okay, go ahead and try and make me. Go ahead and try and make me. No, it ain't gonna work there, kid. And I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna get your rear end spanked. I'm just gonna tell you that. By the way, the Supreme Court has ruled that Trump can end temporary protected status for Haitians in our country and deport them. People from Syria who just claim temporary protected status. Nah, ain't gonna work. Bye. See you later. You go back. So much for that, Claire Valdez, whatever the hell your name is. And also, at a 6-3 decision, of course, the 3 libtard judges, the U.S. Supreme Court has sided with Trump and ruled that migrants who show up at the border have not arrived in the United States and do not automatically qualify for asylum and can be turned away. So how's that working for you? It's not working out so well. Not working out so well at all. Welcome to the show. Please come inside. We have much to get to as the show progresses. Supreme Court shoots down requiring permission to carry a handgun in public accommodations, meaning that if your state is concealed carry and you come up to those one little lib businesses who say, this is a gun-free zone, you can bring your gun in with you. Yeah, I know, because you're a legal handgun owner, you see. So it's fine. That's what happened. And that was it out of Hawaii. That was a case out of Hawaii. So you never seen that? You ever notice that liquor stores never say, a gun-free zone, and banks never say gun-free zone? Because it's kind of stupid. It shows that, A, we can't defend ourselves, and B, you can murder all of us. It's not, that's why it's so stupid to have gun-free zone on the front door of your school. I think we all know how well that has turned out, to be quite honest. But anyway, that's been, pardon the expression, shot down by the Supreme Court. A lot of good stuff coming out of the Supreme Court today. We'll get to all of that as it continues. Last night, again, a huge event. I did not get a chance to make it down to Trump's speech last night. A couple of reasons. One, there was a massive accident and a fire on the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. Yeah, I live near the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. They named a bridge after that Socialist. They did, I know, but it's Washington, D.C. Anyway, there was a big fire there, and the worst traffic I have seen since I moved here, so there was no going anywhere. I could have ridden my bike into D.C. It would have been faster, and I wasn't about to do that. But it was a huge crowd last night. There were all sorts of aircraft flying over. It was stunning. It was beautiful. They had singers. They had patriotism, and they had prayer.
Can you make some noise for the greatest nation on the planet?
Right here, baby.
In God we trust.
Yeah, baby. Come on.
If you would stand to your feet, we're going to pray, and this is going to be the greatest celebration in 250 years of liberty and freedom.
It is.
Lord, we come again on this 250th birthday, and we thank you for this nation. We thank you, oh God, for your faithfulness throughout all the generations. And we thank you because you have brought us to this moment for such a time as this. Please breathe on America again. Lord, let your grace begin to cover this nation like never before.
Come on.
So bless this nation and let your grace flow from sea to shining sea. Touch our president.
Come on.
Touch his cabinet.
Yes.
Bless our Supreme Court. Bless our Congress and bless our Senate. And Lord, I pray thy kingdom come and thy will be done. Bless our young people. Bless our children and our children's children. In your mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. And I know that there is much concern about these adult children in places like New York. Realize 7% of voters, mostly young and white, led Mamdani's New York City socialist election surge. This is what happens when you tell white kids that they should feel terrible about being white and they owe the world something. And then you don't educate them about, I don't know, how socialism killed 100 million people last century and all of that. The overall turnout, roughly 17% of Democrat voters citywide. It was obviously by very few people. Chevalier, this Avila Chevalier, roughly 33,000 votes from 450,000 active voters in the 13th House District. Okay, so very few people, because if you sit on your rear end, what happens is they elect socialists and communists. Avila Chevalier swept white voters 68% of white voters, of young children who have never voted before, who fell for the same nonsense. Like Valier, fellow Mondami-backed DSA diehard Claire Valdez win came from a small group of people, roughly 38,000 votes out of 456,000 eligible voters. There you go. And then, of course, the other case, which is this former city comptroller Brad Lander. He won and beat Dan Goldman quite handily. And it's kind of interesting because Dan Goldman, Trump hater supreme, I'm glad he's gone. I mean, if this is how it had to happen, then okay, that's fine. Because now we need to kick this jackweed's rear end. But this is very telling that Dan Goldman this week was banned from a coffee shop for being Jewish and a supporter of Israel. Then he was beaten by a man who is an anti-Semite socialist. Okay? That is very, very telling. And I see all these idiotic, metaphors. Yeah, this is a metaphor for Trump. The reflecting pool getting vandalized is a metaphor for Trump's, America. No, it's not, you idiot. No, it's not at all. The metaphor is how beautiful D.C. is and the crime is all down and everything. That's the metaphor, Donald Trump versus Biden and other Democrat presidents. And this is the metaphor for the Democrat Party going down the slippery slope toward socialism and anti-Semitism like Germany did in, 1933. So there is that. And now there's beginning to be a little bit of subtle panic in the Democrat Party. And make no bones about it, the Democrat Party is in a whole lot of trouble. And coming up, I'm going to give you a little bit of good news about how well received Democrat socialism is outside of New York, across the country. It's not popular at all. All right, so all of that is coming up on the show. Here's the number, 800-922-6680. This is The Rob Carson Show.
WCBM.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
Yeah, make sure to download the podcast every single day. On all podcast platforms, Spotify, there's a little subscription thing, ding a bell, whatever. But there's a reason why this podcast, this radio program and podcast now number 10 in the nation. Right after Victor Davis Hanson, for goodness sake. You wouldn't believe the names we're beating already. I moved out here to Washington, D.C. about 10 months ago, and things have really taken off. I'll just put it that way. And then, of course, the live stream on all Newsmax social media, Newsmax, let me see, YouTube, X, Facebook, and, of course, Rumble. The combined audience is absolutely massive, and the average time spent watching this face right here. Hi, everybody. Watching. Hello, everybody. Hi. 1 hour and 39 minutes a day. What? 1 hour and 39 minutes a day. And there's a number of reasons for that. One of them is that we have common sense, and I use humor to make a point when possible. How's that? That's just the beginning. There's a lot of other reasons. Here is Harry Hinton talking about this Democrat socialism that's sweeping the nation, even though a very tiny percentage of voters are voting for it. It's kind of a stealth invasion, as it were, and we're going to have to go to war with it. And I do mean that 100%. We're going to have to go to war with these Democrat socialists because we aren't going to become a socialist nation as much as Bernie Sanders, who's a failure. He's an oligarch himself. He's got 4 houses, for God's sake. He's not a socialist. He's an oligarch. And he's convinced this is really going to sweep over the nation. It ain't, Junior, because we got this thing called the Constitution, and it ensures that we are a representative republic and will never be a communist country or a socialist country. And if you try to do that, we will defeat you. We will crush you. Here is Harry Hinton.
Because what is true in New York City in a Democratic primary ain't necessarily true nationwide with the general electorate. I mean, just take a look here. Net favorable rating of Democrat socialists. If you look at Democrats nationwide, look at this. Yeah. Democrat socialists on the positive side of the ledger at plus 17 points. Yeah. This includes Democratic-leaning independents. Yeah. But look at all voters. A completely different world. 27 points underwater.
Yeah, so all voters, Democrat socialism is 27 points underwater. This doesn't mean we relax. Not one little bit. We have to, again, as I told you, we are battle-hardened, not battle-weary. We fought to get Donald Trump to be the president again after a rigged election, an attempt to put him in jail, 5 attempts to put him in jail, 5 attempts to take his fortune, an attempt to take him off of the ballot, 2 impeachments, a raid on his home, completely unjustified, and, of course, let's not forget, 4 now assassination attempts. We ain't about ready to let this crap fly nationally.
Democratic Socialists of America are in the net favorable rating. So what are we talking about? A 44-point difference here in the wrong direction when we come to Democratic Socialists of America, jumping from being pretty popular among Democrats to being not popular at all among all voters.
No. What about just the word socialist or socialism? How's that doing?
Yeah, okay. So, one of the trends that we have seen is among Democrats, socialism has become more popular over the last decade and a half. But what about the rest of the electorate? And this, I think, gives the game away right here. Okay, positive view of socialism. Among Democrats, look at this. Up considerably from where we were in 2010, 50% to now 66% now. That's a jump of 16 points.
Because Democrats are completely clueless and they've been taught to hate America.
And a half. But look at all others. The number is the same. It was 29% back in 2010. It's 30% now. Yeah. Socialism has become increasingly popular among Democrats, but it is a much tougher sell in the rest of the electorate. It's a much tougher sell among independents.
Yeah, because the Democrat Party is dying. It is dying. It is doing a death spiral into hell, exactly like I've been saying for, I don't know, a few years now. If you guys who are just tuning into the show for the very first time going, hey, who's this really good-looking, great-sounding guy named Rob Carson? My God, he should be a model. I know you think that, but if you haven't been listening to, and if you have been listening to the show, you know that I've been saying the Democrat Party is doing a death spiral into hell, and they are. And right now they are divided. And right now there are a lot of Democrats who think they have really bitten off more they can chew with this Democrat socialism nonsense. And they're talking about, oh, we've got a big tent. We've got a big tent. I do occasionally too. Let's just not even go there. But we've got a big tent. And you know what the Democrat socialists are saying? Get your rear end out of the tent, Democrats. We don't want any part of you. We are just using Democrats and the name Democrats and Democrat voters to usher in a new era of socialism and communism. Yeah, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Here's the president.
Every election's important. We're doing very well. They want a lot of communists to come in. I'm saying it a little bit differently, but the people that they're pushing are communists.
Yeah,
and
they are.
This country is not going to have communists. Thank you very much.
No, we will beat their rear ends into the dirt. Here is Donald Trump. And this is like the ultimate. This is, if you want something metaphorical, you've got a guy, Dan Goldman. He hates Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a fascist. Donald Trump is this. Donald Trump is that. They're not saying anti-Semite anymore, by the way. You know, there is that. And Nazi anymore. You know why? Because Democrats have a Nazi running in the state of Maine, and Democrats just had 3 anti-Semites elected in New York. So there you go. But here's old Dan Goldman hating on Donald Trump and everything. And turns out Dan Goldman just got his rear end kicked by an anti-Semitic communist in New York City. And then on the same day, he got kicked out of a coffee shop for being a Jew and a supporter of Israel.
But he picked 3. They won. They beat a guy named Dan Goldman, who's, a loser. He was one of my prosecutors, one of my many prosecutors that they used on me. Dan Goldman, not a good prosecutor, fortunately, but he's now looking for a job. I was very surprised to see, because he's a pretty liberal guy. When they go more liberal than Dan Goldman, they're really at Never Land.
They are. And like I said, we should not relax. We are here to save our country. The Democrat Party is offering nothing, and now the Democrat Party is split in half. And they're going down a road of socialism and communism that will be rejected. Coming up, Mike Johnson talked about this yesterday. And by the way, on Newsmax today at 2 o'clock, President Trump and Mike Johnson will be broadcasting a live meeting on Newsmax today. If you don't have the Newsmax app, get it, download it, become a Newsmax Plus member, all of that stuff, because it is a glorious network. And when you compare it to, Fox and the other ones, the other wannabes, nobody gives you the truth. Nobody gives you a perspective that is conservative and never changes their principles like Newsmax. There you go. We're going to take a break and come back. Michael Charbon from Canada joins us next. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Well, they have a lot of cats, and they're all Democrats. We call them Karen. They have a whiny voice. They are all pro-choice and mostly barren. They're cat ladies. Whoa, 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 they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who have clearly lost their minds. These Karens don't like ice. They often pay a price, mistakes they're making. Karenism is their curse. Could go to jail or worse for their law breaking. They're cat ladies. Don't have a child. They're cat ladies. Talk talking about some miserable ladies who were out of their minds.
For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea, that we were meant to live free. Free to work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, might be time to declare your independence from pain. I take Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I'm able to crush it at the gym and ride 30 miles on a mountain bike on Saturday mornings. Relief Factor. It's 100% drug-free, research-based formula designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. It's not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from inside out at the source. Relief Factor was created so people could get back to living life on their terms, walking, working, exercising, enjoying the moments that matter. This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take a stand for your own freedom. To commemorate, they're offering a special patriotic price, just $17.76. Yeah, your $17.76 3-week quick start is ready for you. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4-RELIEF. ReliefFactor.com or 800-4-RELIEF.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Ghost Bed. I love my Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you're already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's exactly why I switched to Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed keeps you cool all night. No waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. Incredible support. Less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is offering my audience an extra 10% off. With financing, some Ghost Beds come out to around $1 a day. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson.
Now back to the Rob Carson Show, presented by Paramount Plus.
Three, two, one.
Oh, beauty, go.
Take off to the great white north.
Take off. It's a beauty way to go.
There you go. That is the official introduction for Michael Charbon, the host of the Charbon Report, who comes to us live from Canada. Michael Charbon, how are you doing on this glorious Thursday, sir?
Rob Carson, it's an honor to be with you, with your nationally syndicated radio listeners, as well as streaming live on the Newsmax app for the amazing Rob Carson Show. Rob,
Yes.
I need your guidance. I have a transgender technology problem.
What is this?
Really? So I have like Alexa in my kitchen, and my wife has a hearing problem, so she changed it to a voice of a man. So every time I say Alexa, this guy comes on with this rolling voice. I mean, I'm really having a problem with that. And then I have Siri. I have Siri on my Apple phone, who every so often pops in and gets jealous. And then my wife says, "Who's that woman you're talking to?" I'm really
that is fantastic. That is really fantastic. Well, have them identify as the opposite gender. That's what I would strongly suggest.
You can't do that. It's Alexa.
It's interesting. I've got this the same thing in my truck, my Bronco Buck, and when I turn on the navigation, it talks to me and prompts. I like to hear that, actually. I know that sounds kind of strange, because I'm desperately lonely as a human being. That said, it's got this voice, and I've had a debate with people in my car because I had this girl in my car the other. I had a girl in my car, and she wasn't even being held hostage, Michael. It was crazy. Anyway. She's a black woman, and she says, "Oh yeah, that sounds like a black girl." And I said, "Really, you think so?" And then I had another woman in my car, again, not hostage, and she goes, "Oh no, she sounds totally Jewish." So I don't know, maybe a little black Jewish. I don't know, but she is. She's like a friend. She goes, "Oh yeah, turn over here," and she's, I don't know, very personal. I don't know why that's my default. And it just became my default.
African woman's voice. I like the South African woman. But every time I see Alexis and this man comes on, I'm having a real problem with this.
Yeah, you just don't want the Democrat socialist voice, because it'll say, "You should feel terrible for owning this car. It's destroying the planet." And then it tells you where to go. And it generally tells you just go to hell. That's that.
You know what? I can't believe, and I'm doing a new thing called America, Are You Okay? And my first bit that's coming out either later today or early tomorrow is all about, I can't believe that communism is and socialism is a thing in America, of all places.
Well, no, it's only a thing in the Democrat Party, nationally, not flying. As far as the general population, I just played a bit from Harry Hinton. The popularity of socialism has not grown nationally for the population overall. It is appealing to Democrats, and the Democrat Party is lost. They're feckless. They're awful. They got their rear ends handed to them in 2024. They haven't had a choice for president since 2008. And a lot of Democrats are going, "Oh, I don't know. I hate Donald Trump so much. Let's give this socialism that killed 100 million people last century another try." So the Democrat Party is split. The United States of America, I do not believe, we're not going to let it go communist, because there will be an uprising before that happens.
Well, the amount of men and women and things of preciousness that died to fight against communism. I mean, you even think back of the Kennedy, the missile crisis, Cuba. I mean, all those things. You look at the way Cuba is. There's a socialist country, and you look socialism. I think, as you even said in your introduction, has never worked, never will work, and won't work. So how does it even get to the point where these people are being? Is it just a New York and a California bookend thing? I mean, I don't.
It's happening. It's happening in different liberal municipalities around the country, and it's happening with young people who are not educated as to the horrors of communism. That's what it's really all about. If you look at New York, it's literally like 17% of Democrats voting. Very, very tiny numbers voting. You got this Chevalier or whatever. She drew 33,000 votes, got her elected out of 450,000 active voters. So it's a psyop. It's money from outside. It's taking advantage of a situation where voters are apathetic or not paying attention at all, and it is ushering in these candidates. Now, right now, it's impacting these municipalities. I do not believe this will resonate nationally, because there are, I don't know, about 100 million of us gun owners who ain't gonna let it happen.
Yeah, but Rob, the unfortunate reality, it's like your toe. The infection spreads. You've got to kill it at the beginning. You got to clip it and medicate it. So, I mean, there has to be some type of a Republican conservative, a concerted effort to inform people what's going on and let them know what it is that communism represents.
And it is.
And what America is.
Today on Newsmax, Mike Johnson is meeting with President Trump at 2:00, and Johnson brought it up yesterday. With a degree of concern, certainly. But we're going to put this out. We're going to put it out like a cigarette on the butt of your heel. That's what I believe. And also, it's going to be it's a very tough sell anyway, particularly during the 250th anniversary of our birth. And by the way, Michael, you got a lot of people coming down from Canada to see the World Cup, and a lot of people are going back to Canada realizing, hey, maybe America doesn't suck, it kind of kicks ass.
It's not just Canadians, Rob.
Oh, I know.
You're seeing a lot of people. Here was a perfect example of how the left-wing media, both in Europe and in Canada and in the United States, has corrupted what people feel about America. I do a fair bit of traveling. Every single time I meet an American, we embrace. It's like a friend that I haven't seen. I mean,
yes, sir.
It is such a fallacy, and you're seeing the Scottish people in their kilts. You're seeing the Australians. You're seeing all these ethnic groups who are coming to support their soccer team, which is wonderful. But they're realizing the beauty of what America has and the cherished ability that you have as a nation to conduct your life the way that you want, as long as you're not disrupting anybody else. And they're going back. This World Cup is the best advertisement for the positive positioning of America that's ever happened. I'm telling you that.
Well, I saw you said that in the first quarter of 2026, 55,000 people have left Canada permanent.
Yeah.
And Canada has been leaning wicked left for a while. And it's just like New York. You elect these communists, they leave, they go to states like Florida. Same goes with California. Number one outbound migration. The state of Maryland, right near where I live, 6th most outbound migration. They turn Eden into a crap hole. Go ahead.
So, Rob, the reason that these Canadians are leaving is they're highly educated, highly skilled, and they're getting paid more somewhere else.
Yes.
It's not necessarily the country that they're leaving, it's the pay scale.
And it's also the leadership of the country. It's also the politics of the
Mr.
country.
Carney has done actually a relatively better job than his predecessor, lover boy of Katy Perry. But I will tell you this. At least the one thing I can say that we respect from Mr. Carney is he didn't delve into this back and forth on email, back and forth. He's done a lot of strategic, what he's called strategic leveraging, so that we can't be held ransom to a larger country who's trying to say, make it our way or no way. Now, by the way,
I'm changing my description of Justin Trudeau to the James Tallarico of Canada. That's what I'm going to call him. All right, listen, Michael, we got to take a break and come back. Michael Charbon, the Charbon Report. Michael A. Charbon on X. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
WCBM.
There we go.
We owe America. Where we say, please don't take me home. I just don't want to go to work. Let me stay here and drink all your beer. And I've never resonated with that song more than in America.
Yeah, but the only thing is you will never be able to drink all of our beer. The world will never be able to drink the amount of beer that America has. And I've seen this from Canadians as well, by the way. And by the way, I had the opportunity to meet a Canadian from Quebec the other day, had a delightful conversation. He was surprised that I parled the Francais.
Wow. Well, I got to tell you, I heard a story of a bunch of Scottish guys in Boston who killed the bar and drank all its beer. So I got to tell you,
I love the Scots. The Scots are just I'm falling in love with the Scottish people. I really, really am. These guys coming over here, and they're just very impressive. There's a lot of very impressive people. The who are the ones who are doing the rowing? Is that from Norway?
Denmark.
I love that.
I think
Denmark. I love that, bro.
Was it
That's
Denmark?
just
I think it's Denmark.
That is just cool. I was talking to, and this is off subject, Michael, because the World Cup is here. But, I was talking to a guy last night who is a big soccer fan. And did you realize, think about how big this would be. There's the possibility, there's a lot of moving parts, that America could face Great Britain on July 4th in Boston. Oh, my God, could you imagine?
You talk about the synchronicity of history, and also what President Trump is doing in Washington right now with the World's Fair. When was the last time he had a World's Fair like that? And I feel so embarrassed. Ali Velshi, former host of Al Jazeera and a former Canadian, talking about that he can't feel American enough and that the flag isn't American enough. I can't understand how certain television networks can be so negative and so downtrodden on your birthday and the accomplishment of 250 years. It's abominable.
Because he's a spoiled, entitled leftist, and screw him, and don't pay attention to those pieces of crap anymore. I'm done with them. I'm done with her, Joy Reid, and all these fools, and Sonny hosting yesterday. Oh, I don't care. Literally, they're willing to say of these socialists, oh, yeah, sure, they're anti-Semites, but have you seen the price of bread lately? What the hell? What the hell? But that said, I think in 2026, what we'll have to do if Great Britain faces America in Boston on July 4th is just tip your twisted tea into Boston Harbor. Just to pour a little,
Can you
for your home.
imagine how many people are going to watch the final regardless? And if America's in the final, I mean, it's just a wonderful thing. And, it's interesting, again, how we always say how important sports is, and getting your kids involved, understanding the premise of winning and losing and competition and working as a team. All those traits and all those skills are what you need in life, and how sports now is bringing us all together and changing minds in Europe, around the world, about what America is.
He's at 100%, and I do believe, and I believe this is a serendipitous moment. Donald Trump was cheated out of an election in 2020. He went through all of these throws, all of these fits, attempts on his life, etc., to arrive here in the 250th anniversary of our birth. We've already won the men's hockey championship, Olympic gold. There's a lot of other things that are happening that are just amazing, and I just kind of have a feeling, because I think that this is a God moment. I think we are the reaction to the action of evil. I wouldn't be surprised to see the U.S. playing Great Britain July 4th in Boston. And, brother, if the U.S. men's team won the title, it would absolutely make soccer a top-tier sport behind the NFL nationally.
No, I disagree with that. I think NFL is still going to be the be-all and end-all.
I said after. Dude, did you not hear me? I said after the NFL. Come on. I wasn't saying it's going to replace the NFL.
Football is the closest to religion that you can get without having to walk into a church in the United States. I mean,
by the way, back to Canada. We haven't talked much about Canada today. A lot of negatives happened up there. The third police officer killed in Canada in June. And some in Canada are calling for the return of the death penalty. In Canada, really?
So think about this. The capital punishment was suspended in Canada in 1967, and it was actually abolished in 76. Since 1959, 710 Canadians were actually executed because of capital punishment. In the United States, there's 27 states who legally have capital punishment, 24 who consistently use it. I mean, since 1967, 1,669 people have been executed in America because of capital punishment. In 2026, last year, there was 15, and in 2025, 47. And what people are saying is when it comes to police officers and prison workers, in those situations, FBI, et cetera, those kind of people who are killed by criminals, the death penalty should be levied. But there is one caveat. And the caveat is that there has to be unequivocal proof. It has to be 100%. You have the gun in your hand, you fired it, you killed him, because there's been too many times when we have people who have received the death penalty who were innocent, and we can never do that. But why would you spend $50,000 a year to keep this guy alive to kill the cop?
100%. I will tell you, and you're going to be surprised on this, I'm leaning away from the death penalty because of how it's meted out here. It takes decades to put people to death. And right now, as it is right now, I think life in prison is a much worse penalty. But it's not because I don't want these bastards killed. I'd love to see them killed. But right now, how it's meted out here is just a miserable affair for the victims.
20 years.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Michael Charbon, by the way, this is one of our first successful times having your fantastic face in your fantastic suit on the live stream. It's so good to see you, brother.
It's wonderful to be with you. You know, Rob, I listened to you during the week on the podcast, and I see your smiling face, and I'm telling you, you do a great show. You know, Rush Limbaugh is giving you a tap of the hat. I'm going to tell you that. You're doing a great job, Rob. So
tell him on from God. Tell him. Listen, I walk in his shoes, or I say, I walk in his footsteps, but no one will ever fill his shoes. There you go. Real quick, where can everybody find your wonderful work?
MichaelACharbon.com, the Charbon Report, and I'm on Newsmax, generally on Sundays, and always the Rob Carson Show at 12:35 Eastern Standard Time.
All right, God bless you, my Canadian brother. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Looks good. Looks good. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson with another great deal from Birch Gold. Buy some gold, put some silver in your pocket. I know what you're thinking. It's been difficult getting people on camera, so we're gonna get there. I love it. Hi guys, how are you? Hello, War Eagle. Good afternoon, Rob. Good afternoon, guys. Bad audio. It sounded good actually for me. I don't know. We're gonna get into this election. Megadittos, Rob. Yeah. I wrote for him for 20 years, and he was formative, and never forget that I was the man who brought original comedy to his show. I was a kid. He was playing Weird Al bits before I showed up. He was playing Spatula City before I showed up. So there you go. Anyway, hold on one second. I can grab some audio here. Anyway, yeah, Rush was amazing. I like to consider myself I'm not comparing myself to Rush per se, but kind of the Rush of digital, because Rush came along as AM radio was dying and saved AM radio particularly. I've come along like Rush did, right skill set, right life experience, right common sense at a time where digital and the analog signal are crisscrossing, and together they're a very powerful combination. They're a very, very powerful combination, and we're reaching so many people on all of these mediums. So there you go. It's not an earthquake yet, but it's getting there. Getting there. All right, hold on. I got to play some audio or something, man. Here we go. Okay. Led Zeppelin. you go. Not my favorite Led Zeppelin song, I'll be honest. Rock and Roll is a very good song. Not even close. When the Levee Breaks right up there. A Whole Lot of Love is the best because it's the greatest rock and roll song ever recorded. So there is that. It just is. Sorry, it is. It's the greatest rock and roll song, and it's also the birth of metal. Here is a little news from the Supreme Court today.
Immigration. Shannon Bream joining us live once again to break it all down for us. Shannon, what do we know?
Here you go.
Okay, so Bill, let me tell you a little bit about the gun case. This was out of Hawaii, where if you have a concealed carry permit, which takes some doing there, the presumption under Hawaii law was that you couldn't take it on private property unless you got express permission from the owner of that private property. So things like shops or restaurants or really any private property. Well, the court shut that down today. They say that arrangement would impose a new burden on permit holders, people who've gotten these concealed carry.
Yeah, because if you operate a business in a municipality that ascribes to different rules of governance, if the rule of governance allows concealed carry, then you can bring your gun with you. I remember when I worked at the car dealership, every once in a while you'd seen these guys come in, because I lived in a Johnson County, Kansas for 10 years, which is an open carry area. And I always felt comfortable, because if you are comfortable enough to carry your holstered arm outside, not waving it around like some dumbass, you're 9 tilting it sideways and all that stupid crap. But if you have it holstered on the, and then these guys come in almost like a old timey 6-shooter on their hip, I felt more secure and so great about that. So this basically says, you snotty little lib businesses who hate guns, and you put gun-free zone on your business in a concealed carry place, you can't keep somebody from coming in. So it's discriminatory. It's like if you were a different ethnicity or something, you're not serving people because of, but now concealed carry is allowed, and there's nothing you can do about it with your little sign that says no gun-free zone. Gun-free zone. And again, I'll tell you what gun-free zone means to a criminal is we have no way to protect ourselves, and you can do anything you want, rob us, kill us, whatever, before the authorities arrive. So there you go. That's why it's so dumb. That's why it's so incredibly dumb. There are other things that came out today. We know that migrants arriving at our southern border in Mexico can be turned away. And then also temporary protected status for Haitians and Syrians ends. Sorry. Go back and make your crap hole great again, or actually great for the first time in the case of Haiti. Yeah, because it's never been great. It's always been a cesspool. There you go. Let's take a break and come back. Hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show right ahead. Don't go anywhere. The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus. The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 2 of the show. Liz Collin joins us from Minneapolis. She's an investigative journalist, and she's fantastic, and she has exposed a lot of the nonsense there with regard to Antifa, these ICE protests and whatnot. We'll talk to her about that. Also, there's a new documentary she's involved with, which is Minnesota's Mao. The real story of Tim Walz, who is a communist. He is a communist. He loves communist China. He's been 30 times to communist China. And did I mention he's a communist? I think I mentioned he's a communist. There you go. So that's coming up at the bottom of the hour. Up at the bottom of the hour. I know it's kind of weird. Also, my TV show, Rob Carson's What in the World, is this weekend. We just put it to bed. Yeah, we have it in the can. Hunter, that's not what you think. Not even what you think. We finished the show, editing and everything, and it's good to go for the weekend. It's called Rob Carson's What in the World, and I'm going to be posting a little snippet of it on my social media today. If you haven't had a chance to see the show, you're going to get a little taste, and it is a very funny show. I'm quite proud of this little show. This little show is a half hour long. You know, I do all of it. I write it. I choose the video clips. I have some guidance from a couple wonderful people and a great editor named Brian, and we get it done. And that little show, half an hour show, has been on Donald Trump's radar for going on 6 years. 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, 8:30 p.m. on Sunday, and then on N2 and whatever. But watch my social media today for a little snippet, because it's a very funny show. I'm quite proud of it. Quite proud of it. Supreme Court said that the Trump can end temporary protective status for Haitians and Syrians, among others. So you got to go back to your home country. Here is Tom Homan talking about that today.
Right call. You know, I've been doing this since 1984. TPS has never been temporary. That's why the whole statute exists.
Yeah.
Temporarily give people protection while the country's in turmoil or after they suffer a hurricane.
You don't get a stay.
The problem is no administration have had the guts to actually follow that statute. Yeah. President Trump has the guts to follow the law. So temporary means temporary. When the condition of that country gets better, they need to go home.
There you go. That's all there is to it. But here's old MSNBC. They're having a meltdown. Now, realize, of course, that MSNBC, or MS Now, hates America, thinks America is racist, genocidal, and awful. So I'm trying to figure out why they would want to send people from this country back to their home countries, since America is so genocidal, so racist, and so awful. But here they are.
I don't think there is a single American who can say they actually forget what we heard from the president, what we heard from Vice President Vance about Haitian people, just some of the most disgusting and racist remarks you can.
Not one racist at all. It's just that Haiti is a crap hole.
Imagine.
It's not because of the race of the people. It's because of the mindset of the government.
Work with a number of Haitian clients. Break down for me just how devastating all of this is about to be.
Well, why? Why? America's a terrible, terrible place. I mean, it is racist. It's racist. It's racist. Did you realize we're taking away the right to vote of black people? And if you listen to, other people like Stella Presley, I believe, she said that because of that, we want to put black people back picking cotton. Picking cotton, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they've literally said. So how are you possibly angry that we're sending Haitians back to Haiti?
Very devastating, and I hope we stop talking about it as the Trump administration won or someone won, because right now America lost. There are going to be a lot of jobs that are open and a lot of people at home health.
I know, Austin. We can take the jobs. We can give the jobs to people who want the jobs. It's kind of cool. There you go. So there is that. Again, you look at the like Claire Valdez. Here's Claire Valdez.
Yeah, you can show yourself through the
Claire
door.
Valdez. She says that America is so terrible.
Solidarity in those struggles, And I think it makes me
She's one of the daycare 3 who won in New York primaries over the weekend.
think about immigration in a different way. We hear all these, white conservative men talk about who does and does not belong here. And
yeah, people who are here illegally don't belong here. So
look, this nation was founded on genocide and the mass displacement of people.
Well, Haitians should love going back home because honestly, it's such a terrible place. It's kind of strange that way. This juxtaposition. These mental gymnastics of these morally and intellectually bankrupt and broken people is just amazing. And thankfully, common sense is prevailing and will continue to do so. You got this Darziela Avila Chevalier. She's this woman just won a primary in New York City, and she did it with a very small amount of the vote. And she's a radical communist and anti-Semite. I want you to listen. This is Lydia Moynihan on CNN. She's fantastic, talking about this Lydia Moynihan Chevalier, who's never had a job and has been in school for 12 years to get her graduate degree.
For the energy of the party is, and he's trying to embrace it and jump on that bandwagon. But of course, he's not going to be included. Once these people get more and more power, he's going to be the first to go. And so it's
talking about Hakeem Jeffries and how the Democrat Socialists have no intention of keeping the Democrat Party, keeping whatever you want to call mainstream Democrats in the party. They're there to take over the party.
Interesting that these sort of so-called moderate Democrats are trying to ingratiate themselves to these super far left figures, but it's not going to work out for them. And what is going to happen, and we're already seeing, is they're alienating key demographics of people who've historically been Democratic voters. In New York, we saw Black, Hispanic, working class voters are now increasingly alienated from these figures because the new Democratic Party is woke, overly educated, super far left figures. One of the women who won, Avila Chevalier, she's been getting her PhD for 7 years. She's been in college since 2012. She is not representative of the concerns that the average person has.
She's been in college for 14 years. She's been in college 14 years. She never had a friggin' job. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And James Tallarico believes that God is non-binary, and there are 6 sexes, and he's got a DEI job, and he has a joint check account with his mom. And then you got that Nazi, allegedly, he just had a Nazi tattoo on his chest for 18 years, Graham Plattner up there in Maine, who literally is on disability. That's his living, and he's an oyster farmer, which nobody in Maine calls somebody who deals in oysters or raises oysters, and he's only sold oysters to his mom. So good luck with that. Good luck with that. I mean, honestly, you're laughable. You're a joke, an absolute joke. Let's go to Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson was talking yesterday about these communists who've been elected, and yes, we need to be concerned about them. But they've exposed their flanks, so we can kick their butts. Mike Johnson.
The headlines this morning say it all. I've got a collection of them here. Socialist earthquake. One of them said. Mamdani candidates sweep New York House races. These are socialists. These are Marxist in their ideology.
Yeah, they are.
Next headline, Mamdani hails new chapter for Democrats. One of the Chiron said this morning on the news. Hakeem Jeffries, my counterpart, the Democrat leader here in the House, was booed at some of these return parties last night. You saw that on social media and some of the clips.
Yeah.
When he was being interviewed on the screen, the crowds in New York, in his own backyard, in the Bronx, in one of these districts, were booing him. And they shouted, "You're next."
You are next.
Hakeem Jeffries has a tall task ahead of him right now. He's got to go out and somehow make a credible pitch to Democrat establishment donors that's a good national investment right now. That's a tough one to make.
Yeah.
He has just proven that he cannot even hold the line in his own backyard.
Yeah, and they actually went further left after 2024 when they got their rear ends completely kicked up between their shoulders for going way left. And I liken it to, by the way, the old Democrat Party. Okay, so you got Hakeem Jeffries, you got Chuck Schumer and all this. You ever see the movie Blade? The original Blade with Wesley Snipes, one of my favorite movies, a little violent, but damn, it's a good movie. You remember the Vampire Council? And they're all hanging around. Think about the old Vampire Council sitting there as the Democrat establishment, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries victories and Liz Warren, and then Zoran Mondani comes in. He's the young vampire who's going to take out all the old vampires. I grabbed this little clip because it's a perfect comparison to the Democrat Party being taken over by the very destructive and evil Democrat Socialists.
You know our policy. Your policy, not mine. Our livelihood depends on our ability to blend in.
Yes.
And our discretion.
Yeah, the Democrat Party, we've always been able to blend in and deny that we were actually socialists. And you guys are actually saying it out loud, and you're a threat.
Maybe it's time we forgot about discretion.
Yeah.
We should be ruling the humans.
Yeah.
Not running around making back alley treaties with them.
Yeah, we should say from the river to the sea, Palestine might be free, and just make our anti-Semitism very, very visible.
Or maybe I'm just the first to say out loud what we've all been thinking. Who are you to challenge our ways?
That's Chuck Schumer there.
You're not even a pure blood.
You're not even a pure blood Democrat.
Like it matters.
Yeah.
You were merely turned. The world belongs to us.
Yeah, that's Zoran.
You know that.
Yeah.
Do we have any other business to discuss?
Any other business? You don't have a German accent?
You may wake up one day and find yourself extinct.
Oh, that's scary. It's also the perfect analogy for what is happening in the Democrat Party. And here is this Darazella Chardonnay talking about, and listen, being asked by Ali Velshi, are you a communist? And not denying it. You know why? Because she's a freaking communist.
Delegation, and you're going to appear in all sorts of people's ads. All sorts of Republicans' ads to say, this is what you're going to get if you vote for the Democrats, a communist.
You know, I think that framing is one that I've been very proud to be able to say I don't respond to. One in which
she just admitted it by not admitting it. I'm not saying she's not.
I have been very intentional.
She's been in college for 14 years.
To say I won't be reactive. We are presenting a vision.
Here's the faculty lounge gobbledygook now. Just want you to be aware of it.
Of what we're fighting for. And I think for far too long, we have had politics that is reactive to what Republicans are doing. What we need is Democrats who are actually going to present a positive vision, one that sets the tone for what we should be talking about, which is the issue of affordability.
Affordability. It was not affordable with Joe Biden. And by the way, it's unaffordable because of all the taxes and regulations in places like New York. If people could keep the 60% the government takes, everything would be affordable.
Which is the issue of how our budgets are moral documents. If we say that we want to invest in working people in this country, then we need to do that. And
you never do.
Budgets need to reflect.
And you might have, if you're going to talk for working people, you might want to have a job.
If we say that we value immigration and immigration justice, we need to make sure that is...
No. We just don't want damned open borders.
Also reflective in our policy. And so I'm very proud of a campaign that we built that centers those ideals, that center...
You haven't answered the question that you're a communist because you're a communist. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
AM and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
Poor little Democrats. Are you guys okay today? I came in to check on you. Every time Trump does something good, you guys spaz out. Would you guys shut up and let him work?
Yeah. How about that? Mike Johnson.
How can he possibly defend against the Marxist march around the country in these other districts? This is not your father's Democrat Party, as we say all the time. Last night, among the incumbents who lost, Adriano Espiat, who's chair of the Democrats' Hispanic Caucus, Dan Goldman, who was mocked for his Jewish heritage in a coffee shop in New York and maligned online because of that. The Democrat Party, the Socialists, the Marxists, have nominated some of the most radical candidates to ever run for office, and they're running for Congress. The insurgent left is on the rise.
Yeah, and we've got to shut them down. We've got to declare war on their movement.
And every American needs to take this seriously. You need to wake up.
Yep.
This upcoming midterm election is not the midterm elections of years ago.
No.
It's going to decide the direction of the country. Are we going to maintain our status as a constitutional republic on our 250th anniversary? Or are we going to make a new choice and go down some road towards a communist utopia?
No, we're not, because you see, we got a constitution, and a lot of people have died defending it, and we'd be willing to do so again.
That's the choice right now. We've been saying for months it's a contrast election. We've been saying it's a contrast between common sense and crazy.
Common sense and nonsense. Who said that? I don't know, the last 6 years. This guy using my thumbs to point at me right now.
That's exactly what's going on. They give us new illustrations every day.
There you go. Here is a little bit more from Mike Johnson. By the way, 2 o'clock today, Mike Johnson will be live on Newsmax with Donald Trump, a little presser.
Across the country, Democrats have candidates winning primaries and rising through the ranks. Here's a few of them. Vang in California, one of the Democrats.
Listen.
She won't say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
Hamaway in New Jersey, Democrat candidate, socialist candidate, has ties to Al-Qaeda and other terrorists. Yeah. Chevalier won last night in New York over Hakim's counter endorsement. She says she wants to abolish the border. She doesn't want a border for the country. Mendoza in Arizona wants to decriminalize trans prostitution. Yeah. Apparently that's the thing.
That's important.
James in Iowa wants to apologize for being white. Garriott in Iowa performed a Satanist wedding.
Yep.
And Bennett in New Jersey stopped going to church because Trump voters were there. This is just a sampling. And these kind of people have been popping up. You've been hearing me say for weeks, there are many Mamdanis popping up all around the country. It is a dangerous thing. This is not a joke. We're in a fight right now to save the republic.
Yeah, 100%. Here's Democrat Gregory Meeks denying that Zohran Mamdani has wrested control of the Democrat Party from the old school vampires of the Democrat Party.
Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer both hail from New York City, but they are not the dominant force in their own hometown. For the moment, the distinction belongs indisputably to Mamdani, obviously the mayor of New York City. Do you accept that?
No, I don't. Look, it is a New York City problem. That we've got to be focused on, because I think it is clear that when you listen to at least some of the statements that have been made, that they don't want to be a part of the Democratic Party.
There you go. Yeah. You made your bed. Now you're going to have to lay in it. You didn't defend the Republic. You hated America. You forced DEI and nonsense down people's throats. You took the American flag down and you put up a rainbow flag. You chased God out of the classroom. You said that the founders were, slave owners, and they were all genocidal maniacs, etc. And you burned the country, and you tore down the statues. And look what you did. It's biting you in your butt. Thank you very much. It's biting you in the butt big time. It's fantastic. The Democrat Party is divided, a house divided. And what happens to a house divided? Will not stand. Abraham Lincoln said that. Buy gold, put some silver in your pocket. I know what you're thinking. Everybody's expensive. Why would I want to buy gold? How about that old 401k? Here's what I'm going to do. I've already bought gold with Birch Gold with an old 401k. I'm going to ride it for 10 years. I'm going to sit on it for 10 years. That's what I'm doing. Now, what happened in the last 10 years? Well, let's just say in the last 10 years, it went from $1,200 to where it is right now, about $4,000. It's been a little bit higher. Right now, it's giving you a break so you can get in on it and then sit on it. There you go. It's cheaper now than when I bought it a couple months ago, and that's okay. That's okay, because it's going to come back, and you're going to let it ride. You're going to let it ride. And right now, Birch Gold is offering you a commemorative silver round for the 250th birthday of America. It's pretty cool. These things are really cool, and you get one of those for every $10,000 you invest in gold. You invest in gold. Where will it be 10 years from now? Well, I don't know. Just buy some gold and then let it ride, baby. Text Rob to 989898 to take advantage of free America 250 silver. Qualifying purchase before July the 10th. Again, text Rob to the number 989898 today. I think we need a little bit of satire, something to feel good about the country. And for that, we're going to turn to the President of the United States. And Jim Gossett, thank you very much.
I always accentuate the positive. Eliminate the negative. Latch on to the affirmative. With me, there is no in between.
Happy birthday, America!
State of the Union scored. Approval rate, how it has soared.
Screw socialism.
Democrats cannot afford to take me for granted anymore.
Nah, we're just getting
Inflation's low.
Yep.
Employment's high.
It is.
The Dow Jones, it is headed for the sky.
Through the ceiling.
Borders secure.
It is.
Illegals aren't jetting in. That's why I accentuate the positive. Eliminate the negative. Latch on to the affirmative. With me, there is no in between.
There you go. That is Jim Gossett. Go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Liz Collin joins us from Minneapolis. Great stuff on that Marxist bastion that's become a hellhole. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Ghost Bed. I love my Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you're already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's exactly why I switched to Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed keeps you cool all night. No waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. Incredible support. Less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is offering my audience an extra 10% off. With financing, some Ghost Beds come out to around $1 a day. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea, that we were meant to live free. Free to work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, might be time to declare your independence from pain. I take Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I'm able to crush it at the gym and ride 30 miles on a mountain bike on Saturday mornings. Relief Factor. It's 100% drug-free, research-based formula designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. It's not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from inside out at the source. Relief Factor was created so people could get back to living life on their terms, walking, working, exercising, enjoying the moments that matter. This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take a stand for your own freedom. To commemorate, they're offering a special patriotic price, just $17.76. Yeah, your $17.76 3-week quick start is ready for you. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4-RELIEF. ReliefFactor.com or 800-4-RELIEF.
Now back to the Rob Carson Show, presented by Paramount Plus.
WCBM.
Governor Tim Walz. Tim Walz. Governor Tim Walz.
Tim Walz.
Tim Walz. Tim Walz.
Governor Tim Walz of the great state of Minnesota.
I lived in China. I've been there about 30 times.
Tim was snapping up dozens of copies of Mao's Little Red Book. It's not just a political treatise. It's the daily devotional of the Chinese Communist Party. The inscription on the inside is, Mao's words bring us joy.
She's bringing us a politics of joy.
They're trying to steal the joy from this country, bringing back the joy.
You said earlier that ICE agents were a modern-day Gestapo. Would you like to recant that statement?
When I said President Trump was using them as his modern-day Gestapo.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets.
Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota.
For communism to work, you have to erase a country's identity and history, and that's what Mao did. Yeah. Tim Walz is doing it here.
Oh, I can't wait to see this. My goodness, my goodness. It's the trailer for Minnesota Mao, a new documentary that shows Tim Walz has an affinity for Mao's China. And Liz Collin joins us from Alpha News on the Newsmax Hotline. Liz, how have you been?
Hey, been doing just fine, Rob. How are you? Good to chat again.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got so many things that I want to talk to you about. You know, I used to live in the Twin Cities, and I'm signing the cross. Thank God I don't live there anymore. Because it is a little bit guano crazy. Tim Walz has been in love with Communist China for a very long time, starting with 1989, when instead of the Berlin Wall outcome, the Communist Chinese crushed the student uprising in Tiananmen Square, and Tim appeared to be down with that. He's been many times. Tell us about this documentary.
Well, not only to be down with that, Rob, that is actually his wedding anniversary. The atrocities of Tiananmen Square. He wanted to be married on that date, and this is according to his own words and also words that Gwen Walz has spoken over the years, but that her husband, Tim, wanted a date that he could remember. So they were married 5 years after the massacre. I mean, so that's just, and actually that is why we released Minnesota Mao on June 4th. It was an anniversary gift to the Walz. But yeah, so much of this you can't make up. And appreciate you having me on to talk about our new documentary.
That'd be like saying, listen to me, listen, be saying, hey, honey, let's get married on October the 7th, or let's get married on 9/11. Yeah. Are you freaking kidding me?
No, I wish this was a joke, but not the case. But yeah, we released it then just a couple of weeks ago, and more than 200,000 people have seen the documentary, which we're grateful for, and just trying to spread the word. You can always see our documentaries for free on Alpha News. But this is really about Tim Walz, his connections to communist China, and what has happened in Minnesota. I think before you were kind of a conspiracy theorist a few years ago, if you even mentioned, communism and whatnot. But now we're seeing it not only play out in Minneapolis, St. Paul area that is spread all across the state, but all of these blue cities all across the country.
Yes.
And I think you can really, we really hone in on that. I think so much of this, what has happened here, is happening elsewhere. So it's not just a Minnesota story, not just a Tim Walz story. But you hear from people that actually went to China with Walz decades ago. Wow. They're telling their stories for the first time, talking about how Tim Walz could not get enough copies of the Little Red Book. He was scooping them up, as they say in the interviews. And then what has happened with the policies, the radical transformation of Minnesota under Walz these last 8 years with him as governor. Well, we also go into his congressional record as well, but I think people are paying a lot more attention to it now than back then. But just hearing from people from all walks of life, all kinds of Minnesotans. We talked to Democrats as well, who were like, something isn't right about this guy. We go into fraud. We go into the Catholic school shooting that happened at the hands of a transgender shooter last year here in Minnesota. So just so many things that have happened, and I don't think it's a coincidence that they've happened in Minnesota.
Well, I've been saying this for many years. The Democrat Party and the left used the tenets of Mao and Stalin in an attempt to overthrow the country from about 2018 on. The disinformatia. I mean, are you kidding me? It couldn't be more blatant than that. Disinformation was created by Joseph Stalin in 1923. Getting rid of history, tearing down statues, all erasing history is a tenet of Mao. And fortunately, we were able to stop it. We were able to hinder it. And then we see what happened in New York and some of these municipalities around the country. Still nationally, socialism is not popular. But the Democrat Party clearly is leaning into it and forgetting about history. Liz, what do you think about that?
Yeah, and I think that's what's so important here, Rob, that the parallels between Mao's Cultural Revolution and these policies. COVID lockdowns, they were the most extreme here in Minnesota, despite all of our neighboring states. They weren't coming anywhere close to what we were doing in Minnesota. No coincidence about that. The radical transformation in our classrooms that have happened over the last few years in Minnesota. These transgender policies, immigration. I mean, take a look at what took place with this Operation Metro Surge that went on in Minnesota. But what's also interesting, we're talking about the George Floyd riots. We interview in the documentary Tu Tao, one of the police officers thrown in prison over George Floyd's heart attack and death that took place back in 2020. And he brings up communism himself in the interviews and basically just says that this is what he was just days, I think, released from prison just 3 days later. I did the interview with him after he served more than 3.5 years in prison for controlling the crowd. That was his role in George Floyd, and the judge in that case didn't like the fact that Tu Tao was reciting Bible verses at his sentencing and threw him in prison for an extra year, essentially.
Unbelievable.
Because of that. But anyway, he's telling his story for the first time in the documentary as well. So I think it's important. It's 90 minutes. Again, it's free. Accessible to all. Please share the documentary and have these conversations.
I'm putting it up. I'm putting it up everywhere. Minnesota Mao is the name of it. I'm putting it up on my social media at Rob Carson Show all over, and definitely looking forward to watching this, getting a little popcorn and trying to maintain my appetite as I see what this man is all about.
You might need a stiff drink, Rob.
I don't drink anymore. I should be really careful. I should be really careful.
Especially when you're watching this. That's what I've heard. And I think that's kind of the message we like to get out at Alpha News. We're not telling you how to think or telling you what to think, but we're trying to give you something to think about, because you're just not going to hear these stories anywhere else.
How do you suppose?
So bad in Minnesota that you know, that's I think why we've been able to be successful over at Alpha News, because the messaging is just insane.
How is the Antifa responding to the sentencing in Texas of Antifa members up to 100 years for attacking an ICE facility and attempting to murder a police officer? Do you suppose things will calm down a little bit? I'm really hoping this is a bellwether for going after Antifa nationwide.
Well, yeah, we actually just had our own charges last week leveled against some Antifa cells here in Minnesota. And speaking of the press, the only question that the folks at the U.S. Attorney's Office were asked during that press conference from our press was they just wanted to talk about how immigration or ICE officials were treating protesters during Operation Metro Surge. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. But these are people charged with putting up barriers in the streets.
Yeah.
They're stalking ICE officers, tracking their every move. They're assaulting them. They're damaging their vehicles. But yet they were sort of heralded as heroes in the mainstream press after these charges came out last week. Just bizarre. But you're right. I think the message is being sent.
Well, hopefully they can get a jury that is not so incredibly left of center and a judge. It's going to be a tough road to hoe, but I'd love to see the B words go to prison. Much more coming up. If you can hold on, Liz, there's many things I want to ask you about Minnesota. And we'll continue with Liz. Collin, Alpha News, go to X at Liz Collin. Not Collins, it's Collin. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
people. Why are you not at Whipple every day fighting for the humanity, standing for our people? You got your jewelry, you have your nice clothes, but what do you do? What do you do to stand for your Somali and Latino communities? I'm not going to comment. You have no comment, exactly.
That was a group of Antifa, anti-ICE protesters entering a church in Minneapolis, St. Paul area. And Don Lemon followed them. Don Lemon bought coffee and donuts for them. Not exactly being a journalist. Liz Collin, Alpha News, was there, and she lives in the Twin Cities. Liz, you had mentioned that a journalism group gave a top award to a woman facing charges in connection with the church invasion. Hey, stay classy, Minneapolis.
Yeah, and in the other file of You Can't Make This Up here in Minnesota, Rob, so this is, I actually never heard of her, and I have actually been a real journalist in Minnesota for 20 years, but Georgia Fort is her name, and the Minnesota Society of Professional Journalists met last week, and they gave her kind of their top journalism award for the year, which recognizes a person or organization that exemplifies the fight to uphold First Amendment rights. Now, keep in mind, this so-called journalist is now facing felony charges. She's been hit with a felony for what took place at City's Church back in January, this disruption of the service. You had kids crying. There was a man who broke his arm.
Yeah.
And not only this, but Georgia Fort, Don Lemon, and others met with these organizers before they even ran into the church.
Yeah.
They were at a shopping center, which included instructions on how the operation would be conducted once they arrived at the church. So this is not journalism.
No.
This is not, just observing things and capturing footage.
Of course
They're basically in on this, and she broke the law, and this is the state of journalism in Minnesota that she received a top award.
Yeah, and I'm sure you probably will not be nominated. I'm just saying, even though you're a great journalist.
Oh, gosh,
no.
The Minnesota Society of Professional Journalists does not think very highly of us at Alpha News, which we take as a high compliment.
Hell yeah. Federal judge quashes grand jury subpoenas targeting Tim Walz, Mayor Jacob Fry in DOJ's immigration enforcement investigation. They may not be forced to testify, but this doesn't mean they're out of hot water. Have you heard anything about this?
Well, there's an ongoing DOJ investigation into basically this same group of people related to fraud, and I think so much of this ICE the Democrats, frankly, want to continue dragging out the ICE talk, right, because it's kind of become the smokescreen for fraud in Minnesota. So I think there's more to come there. I've been hearing rumblings, but again, with the judicial situation in Hennepin County specifically, I don't really think there was high hopes of these guys, anything happening, with their role in all this. They were openly calling. I mean, Walz was openly calling for people essentially to be stalking ICE agents back then.
I know that.
We're going to bank all these for a prosecution. Those are his own words in his public statement.
Here's Michelle Tafoya, who's running for governor, talking about Tim Walz and Keith Ellison knowing the fraud was happening.
I think that Tim Walz and Keith Ellison are both to blame for this fraud. Look, they're at the top. And as one very revered former United States Senator told me, that amount of money cannot change hands without people knowing.
Yeah, 100%. And Liz, you don't go from spending $4 million on autism to $400 million in 3 years without the freaking Attorney General of the state knowing about it. And by the way, even all the way up to supposedly Tim Walz, chief of staff, and he didn't know about bull crap.
$1 million spent on autism services, Rob, back in 2017 in Minnesota. That climbed to, $350 million back in 2024 under Walz. And so you had this bombshell report that came out just recently saying that Walz and Ellison specifically in this report from this congressional committee that they were aware of the fraud back in 2019 at least. And there's actually a good part in Minnesota Mao with a brave Democratic whistleblower, was a lifelong Democrat until all of this fraud. But she herself talks about bringing, sending emails to Walz, calling Walz's office, saying this is going on, and none of those communications were ever returned.
Yeah, people were punished for it. They were transferred. They were, let go, whatever. I did see one other thing real quick. Downtown Minneapolis is dying. Hennepin County taxpayers are having to fulfill the void for the taxes being lost, like 45%, vacancy rate in downtown Minneapolis. Now that the spigot of money going to the Somali fraudster community is coming to an end, how is Minneapolis going to be able to recover from this anytime soon?
Oh, I think that I would love nothing more to share with your audience that there's some sort of hope for Minneapolis, but there simply is not. I mean, you have a DSA-controlled city council.
Yeah.
So they embrace socialism. This is who's in charge of the city.
Did they go through with the bathhouses? That ended so well for San Francisco in the 80s.
Yeah, actually, that vote is today, Rob. Funny you
dear
should bring
God.
that up, but I have no doubt that will be passed today.
Wow, I got to tell you, I don't even know how you stay there, to be quite honest, but I'm glad you're there doing it. Minnesota Mao, where can people find this wonderful documentary and share it with others?
Oh, thank you. Yes, MinnesotaMao.com. That's MAO, MinnesotaMao.com. You can also, that'll basically link you to our YouTube page, Alpha News MN. That MN is for Minnesota, so yes. Alpha News MN on YouTube. Just click subscribe, and you can see all our videos there for free.
You are the best, honestly, Liz. Thank you so much for finding the time today. I appreciate you and your glorious work. Thank you.
Appreciate you right back. Thank you, Rob.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I'm going to watch Minnesota Mao. I'm going to watch that. Hi, guys. Hello, Wild Bill West. Hello, Scarecrow and Valentina. Yeah, Elmer Fudd is smarter than low voltage votes. Yes, 100%. I should play him. I'm going to play a parody about Tim Walz. How's that sound? Hold on. Trump. Hold on. Minneapolis. Oh, yeah, here it is. I got it. I got one for you. This is a good one. All right. Dookie Bear, I think the boudin in the freezer is coming out. The boudin? Boudin? What is boudin? Is it like poutine? I don't even know. Chicken quesadilla is easy to make, of course. Absolutely. We're talking food now. I love talking about food. You know what I'm doing this weekend? I'm pickling jalapenos. I'm going to do probably 30 or 40 quarts. Got my rubber gloves ready to go because you need to wear them when you're pickling jalapenos. But there you go. Yeah, Dominion dropped this lawsuit against Lindell. It was $1.5 billion. I think that's great news for Mike Lindell. I wouldn't mind seeing him being the governor. He's a pretty good guy. He's a pretty sturdy individual. He's been through a lot of crap. Here we go. Oh, hold on. Get ready to talk here. We got a bunch of stuff to get here, guys. Let me grab some audio here. It's got Jennings, John Kennedy. Oh, the Save Act. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. Palladino. All right. Sorry, I've got to get ready for the break here. I apologize. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I appreciate you, Dookie Bear, and Truth Be Told, and Scarecrow, and, Deplorable Dinosaur. You're the best. Here we go. About 340 here. Yeah, Minnesota Mao is the name of that documentary. I'm going to check it out. I think we need something from Jim Gossett about Minnesota, what a joke it is, and what a joke Minneapolis is. Thank God I don't still live there.
With the actions he's taken, Jacob Bright is making Minneapolis a clown town. Ice fries a bows, and while Tim Walz is dozing, city has become a clown town. Ilhan Omar's hiding fraud, Keith Ellison's obstructing a war on law enforcement. Jacob Fry's conducting. Tampon Tim is so incompetent. Most Minnesotans want no more of him. It's a clown town, Minneapolis, clown town. It's far from fabulous, clown town. Once great cities become.
It was
Clown Town. Clown Town.
Seattle is already well on its way to becoming a clown town. And also, I might mention Seattle as well. Seattle definitely a clown town. There's a story from Fox 45 in Minneapolis. I had alluded to this with Liz Collin.
These new valuations are being described to me as terrible. As these downtown buildings continue to drop in value, it's the homeowners that have to make up the difference in property taxes to help fund the city. Residents tell me they're getting worn down. As one council member says, it's time to tighten the belt. Janet Linnaeus knows.
Yeah, I don't care about her. But you know what? This is what the left wrought. This is what they bring whenever they, take over. And Minneapolis is now an absolute crap hole supreme. I used to live there for 5 years. I did mornings at KS95, everybody. KS95. And had a very successful stint there. But the left is killing it, I'm still optimistic. It's not going to fly nationally, particularly in the 250th anniversary of our country's birth. Here is Claire Valdez, one of the daycare three that was, won an electoral victory in New York last week.
The dirtbag left
this week
is having their moment.
And understand, these people do not like Democrats. Not only are they not Democrats, they wish Democrats poorly.
Okay. That is what's his name? Old scary dude.
There's a lot in there. Let's just
James Carville.
Start with James Carville. Do you wish, not only are you not a Democrat, you wish Democrats poorly, is what he's saying. Is that true?
What I wish is for working class people to have the dignity, the wages, the protections that they deserve.
You've never been able to deliver that. Socialism never does.
And if the Democratic Party is willing to stand for Medicare for all, is willing to fight
government health care,
for abolishing ICE and
getting rid of the border,
the billions, trillions of dollars we spend on forever wars back into our
what forever war? We're ending this one pretty quick.
Communities, then that's the Democratic Party I want to be part of. That's what we're fighting for in these races, and I think we saw over the last several weeks, months, as progressives around the country are winning, and last night, that this is what the working class and the Democratic electorate is also hungry.
No, it is not. It's what the elite, people with no life experience, academic, communists want, and they're taking over the Democrat Party, but we're going to kick their butts nationally. 1,000%. Let's take a break and come back. Last hour of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show. We have much to cover before the end of the program. I think I actually do too much show prep. I'm just going to be honest. I do too much show prep because I always end up with a bunch of stuff I can't get to because, there's much to talk about. There's much to talk about. By the way, new poll, actually a combination of a number of polls in Texas with regard to the senatorial campaign of Pat Paxton versus James Tallarico has Tallarico in front by 1. No, Paxton ahead by 1. Paxton ahead by 1. This is how many months out before the election? Tallarico's not going to be a senator from the state of Texas. It's just not going to happen. And I don't think that Graham Plattner, he's only ahead by like 1 or 2 now. They're not going to be senators. There you go. And as far as these daycare 3 in New York becoming, members of Congress, who knows? But this sort of crap ain't going to fly nationally. It's not going to fly nationally. America doesn't want to go communist, and it's not going to. You know why? Because some of us are going to fight. And we are not going to allow this to take over our country. We are a representative republic. We are guided by the Constitution of the United States of America. And if you think you can overturn that, you're going to be in for a fight. You're going to be in for a very, very big and ugly fight. And we're much better armed intellectually and physically. There you go. Benny Johnson was talking to Bernie Moreno about the possibility of some of these people who've literally sworn to destroy Western civilization in America and are anti-Semites and are communists. And Bernie Moreno says we don't need to swear them in. I don't know how this is going to work, but they can't be seated in Congress if they win.
The group that she founded says, "Death to America. We are fighting for the total eradication of Western civilization, and we seek the instruction of militants in the South," meaning jihadists. How can this person knowingly swear an oath to America when they are a jihadist?
Yeah, my point of view would be very simple. Every elected official since 1789 in this country, once we ratified our Constitution, has to put their hand on a Bible, lift their right hand, and swear allegiance to the United States of America to uphold our Constitution on a Bible, because that's what our founders said we were. We were a Judeo-Christian country. Yes, we are. And my personal perspective is that unless that person is willing to do that, then they are unable to receive that oath of office. And if they...
We all know that Islamists will lie and do whatever they can to convince you that they aren't what they are. But they are. There's no doubt about it. Vicky Palladino was a member of the New York City Council talking to Rob Schmidt last night about the Socialists.
The Socialist, the DSA, has infiltrated the Democratic Party and has been for quite some time. Here's the rub, Rob. Here's the rub, Rob. Anyway, they do not have to be seated. Speaker Johnson has it within his power not to seat these people because of their rhetoric and their anti-American...
They're enemies of the state.
Stance. They made it very, very clear. For that one woman up in the Bronx, Chevalier or whatever the hell her name is...
Who's been in college for 14 years.
For her to say she would use...
Never had a friggin' job.
...use the flag as a napkin to wipe her dirty hands. That's just a small smidgen of what they said about how they hate America. They should not be allowed to take this seat. Nobody's talking about that. Speaker Johnson has got the ability because the oath of office actually means something. And if it means something, then these people are unqualified to take the oath of office.
Yeah, 100%. They're going to get a figurative war, if not a literal war, if they do it. Here's something Dan Bongino posted today from some of these New Yorkers. I want you to listen to this. This on the 25th anniversary of 9/11 is coming up, and this sort of bullcrap is allowed to exist.
Resistance is justified when people are occupied. Thank you to all of those who are resisting occupation from the streets of New York to the streets of Palestine. Up next, I have my sister in the struggle, Nerdine Kiswani.
There is only one solution! I was throwing rocks, Molotov cocktails, the like.
And the days in which they call you terrorists to silence you should be over. Proud Muslims fighting for justice.
Denaturalize, deport, GTFO. You have no business being here. You have no business being here if you don't love America as founded. You certainly do not represent the United States of America. I've got so much stuff here. Oh, my Lord in heaven, I've got so much stuff. You know what? I'm going to move on to other things that are a little bit more uplifting. How's that sound? How's that sound? You know, the World Cup soccer is happening right now. And I've been talking to people from all over the world. I met a Canadian from Quebec at the gym, working out. Went over. He's wearing a Minnesota Vikings hat, right? And a Vikings towel. He's got so I'm thinking he's from Minnesota, right? So I go over and say, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And he goes, "His name is like Gustavo, or I can't remember, Montpellier or whatever." And he's from Quebec in Canada. I started speaking French to him and everything. And he was very excited about being in America. He's now a resident of America, not officially a citizen of America. He's been watching the World Cup. Last night I was just hanging out at a place, a little jazz club. I like to go watch some jazz. And I was talking with this young guy, and he's a major fan of soccer. And, think about this. Think about all the damn money we spend sending our kids to soccer practice and sitting there on the dang sidelines. Isn't it about time that maybe, soccer, was at least a kind of major sport in America? I'm not a big fan of soccer. Don't take it. It's not taking over football. It's not taking over American football. Don't worry about it. It ain't happening. But you know what? I mean, while your kids are freaking doing it every weekend and you've got to sit there on a dang folding chair on the sideline while your kid kicks the ball around everywhere, maybe we ought to do something with it. Yeah, I was there. I was a soccer parent. Thank God, only for a very, very short time. But many of you, and you grandparents too, you suckers, you go there and you sit there and you watch your kid. You wait all day for them to play their game, and then they play their game, and they like tie, whatever. Anyway, this is all these people talking about soccer. Back to this guy who I was talking to last night. If the American men win this year, if they could, and he's poo-pooing and he says it's not possible. He knows more about soccer than I do. I say bullcrap. And I brought up the 1980 Olympic hockey team, which of course happened at least a decade before he was born. And he said, yes, it could happen. A lot of, I've told you about this. There's a lot of serendipity going on. We're the reaction to the action of evil. It's 250th anniversary of America. We've already won the gold medal in hockey at the Olympics. Amazing things are happening right now. Amazing thing. 250th anniversary of America. Millennial peace coming to the Middle East. A lot of South America going conservative. Socialism being stomped out of there. And so could it happen? Could it happen this year? Could it also, and by the way, there's a possibility. I mentioned this earlier with Michael Charbon. He said there's a possibility. And just because I know that this isn't a godly moment, we're on the side of God and good, okay? Patriotic Americans are on the side of God and good. But he said there's the possibility. And I mean, if maybe you know more about soccer than I do, you can call 800-922-6680. There's the possibility the U.S. men's team could play Great Britain in Boston on July 4th. What? If the United States men's team played Great Britain on July 4th in Boston, it would be the biggest soccer game viewed in this country ever, 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 ever. If the U.S. men's soccer team won this year, it would change forever how soccer is viewed as a spectator sport in America. And I think it would make more fans than it ever has. Okay? And again, I'm an American football guy. I like listening to baseball on the radio. Basketball, not so big on the NBA. Love me some college ball. But, soccer, I'm appreciating the phenomenon. And here, it's fascinating to watch. And the thing I like about it is the diehard fans, and even though it's soccer, it's not afraid. It doesn't consider masculinity toxic. You've got the Norway team. They're the guys all doing the rowing. You got the Scots, the Tartan army, parading around playing bagpipes. It's kind of badass. But the reason why it also is serendipitous is the world is coming here during our 250th anniversary. They've been told about how much America sucks. And there are people in America who hate America, like Sonny hosted, like these communist daycare center in New York. And they're going back to their countries and going, holy crap, we were totally wrong.
And that apology is needed purely because of how much judgment the world has thrown onto the US over the last few years. The American people are probably the most genuine, welcoming, humble people that I've ever met in my life.
That we are.
100%, if you get the chance, go to the US and travel and see it for yourself. I promise you, you won't regret it.
Apologize to you. Before I came to this country, I believed everything negative I saw in the news. I saw things about how everyone was rude, how everyone tried to rip you off, and how people just genuinely don't get on. I have now been here over 2 weeks, and I can confirm that that is not the truth. Everyone has been so friendly to me. Everyone wants to talk to me. Everyone's been giving me advice about my trip, and just genuinely being so helpful. American hospitality is definitely a real thing, guys, and I'm all here for it.
All the countries outside America and their media and the narrative they paint about America. Hundreds and thousands of fans for the World Cup are now seeing America through their own eyes, realizing the narrative they've been fed is false. And they're now realizing America is not the place that they thought it was. And I am sorry the media in these countries outside of America paints you the way they do. America is rich in culture, scenery, the people are amazing. And the media in the countries outside of America paint this weird narrative that it's a place that you shouldn't go. But now, the tides are changing. There is a shift that is happening. And I'm sorry you've been painted in this light for so long. And I'm so happy America is finally receiving the flowers that it deserves.
But what I tell you when Donald Trump was going to be elected? Freedom, patriotism, we're going to spread around the globe. Remember that? Remember that? I've been saying it for years. As we went through all of the nonsense of the left, as the censorship, Donald Trump they tried to put him in jail, all of the things they did to him. And I said, when he wins, freedom and patriotism is going to sweep the globe. And this is a gigantic way to make that happen. It's happening. I told you it was going to happen. We get distracted by the daycare center in New York City, those little communists, who, by the way, literally under 200,000 votes, maybe under 150,000 votes, got them swept into office in a city of 10 million or whatever. So it is a tiny little movement. They're just conniving little B-words, and we are going to put them out like a cigarette under the butt of our heel. That's it. It's going to happen. Overwhelm them with joy and patriotism and faith. And fight them and go to the ballot box and overwhelm them. We are going to do it, and we are going to beat them back. We are going to beat them back. They think they have momentum. They think, but they're not right. It may win in places like New York City that they've made into crap holes, but it ain't going to work nationally. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Deported. Deported. Deported.
them out. Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get the hell out of here. Deported. 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 Get them out. Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get the hell out of here.
On Talk Radio 680, WCBM.
If I don't like it, if they don't behave, we'll go right back to dropping bombs right smack in the middle of their head.
Come on. Here comes the boom. Here comes the other boom, ladies and gentlemen. She's a little package, but she is a major force of nature. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one and only Deplorabella. How are you today, Deplorabella?
Well, I'm fine, and I'm happy to see that an increasing number of Americans are beginning to understand the lethality of lies. The Democrats were anti-black, white racists in the time of secession. They are anti-white, black racists in the time of sanctuary cities. You've got Chicago and New York City mayors, for example, who are mavens of mendacity, marketers of Marxism. You've got corporate moguls of multiculturalism, like the guys at J.P. Morgan, who had their DEI executive dump over and try to steal a garbage can, and they canned her. But what were they doing with that diversity nonsense to begin with? In terrible Longview, Texas, where idiots from the new Black Panther Party and BLM are screaming for the release and freedom of Carmelo Anthony. That was not a race-free incident. He selected and premeditated the murder of a white guy. But whether you believe that or not, have been attacking whites in the neighborhood. A young girl was just savagely beaten by a group of blacks yelling, "Free Carmelo," who said they were looking for the smallest white girl they could find. So even in their random mob attacks, they show their cowardice. They left her with staples in her head, a black eye, and extensive bleeding. Why? Because she was white. She had nothing to do with Carmelo Anthony. In Chicago, you've got that intellectually challenged mayor who sees the Juneteenth celebration of chaos and bloodshed with, 8 or 9 dead and almost 40 wounded in the city in a weekend. And what does he do? He comes to talk about transgender people.
Yes.
This is diversion. This is distraction.
Of course it is.
We have had decades of Democrat demagoguery in Chicago, which has given us standards of illiteracy and criminality and fatherless homes never seen before, not since prior to the Civil War. It's really disgusting. In New York, you have an idiot, virtue-signaling, self-loathing Jew who loses a primary, walks into a store run by somebody from the stands, which is heavily Islamist part of the world, who throws him out. And what does he do? He dumps on Trump. No, face the fact that your party is a cesspool of anti-Semitism. You've got Tallarico in Texas screaming about how he hates Christians, and yet you have a lawfare judge almost exonerating Don Lemon and his mob, who assaulted a church and traumatized people practicing their freedom of religion and assembly. This is quite disgusting. We
Deplorabella, and again, I've got to, because it's the Rob Carson show. I didn't need to remind you every once in a while. I'm the host of the show. I'm just not a guy on the phone. You're on a national radio show.
You inspire me.
Once you get going, Deplorabella. But you're a Jewish persuasion, and isn't it awful irony that Dan Goldman and the Democrat Party would bed down with these socialists, and now Dan Goldman, I mean, what's next? Getting kicked out of a coffee house because you're Jewish and support Israel, while anti-Semites are being elected. What is next? Kristallnacht? I'm freaking serious.
It's the left eating its own.
Yes.
You can never be sufficiently communist or Islamist for these lunatics. What they all have in common is a very staggeringly low IQ and a visceral hatred for whites, Christians, and Jews.
Did you hear about the Chevalier? Hold on. Did you hear about the Chevalier? She's been in school for 14. She's been in college for 14 years. It's just laughable.
Her speech is pathetic. Everything is like, and they sound like idiots because they are idiots.
Yes, but unfortunately, they're gaming the system. That's the problem. They're gaming the system, and there are people with big outside money that are propping them up, and those people include George Soros, Neville Singham, and others. And we are going to put them out like the cigarette under the butt of our heels, Deplorabella. We are. But you know what? We got to fight. Right? Am I right?
You're absolutely right. We have to can the people who dump the garbage cans and provide free lunch for rats.
Listen, Deplorabella, we are going to have to go. When you get a show, I'm going to call in, and you know what? I still won't be able to get a word in edgewise.
You have no problem. You are articulate and amusing. People have great affection and admiration for what you're doing.
You're the best. Now, later this summer, WCBM, I believe, is doing their Freedom Fest again. You will be on stage. Stage, okay?
Well, I would love to. Get me details. Wherever you go, I shall follow.
All right, girl. You take care of yourself. Deplorabella on Substack. I mean, honestly, freaking phenomenal. Phenomenal. Download today's podcast just for her. This is the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those words weren't written for history books. They were written for you. But it's hard to pursue happiness when pain is a part of your everyday life. Relief Factor was created to help people address inflammation, one of the most common causes of ongoing aches and pains from aging, overexertion, and daily living. It's a 100% drug-free, research-based formula that works through multiple metabolic pathways to support comfort and mobility. No prescription, no masking symptoms, just real relief so you can keep moving forward. I work out every other day, I crush it at the gym, and I ride my bike 100 miles on the weekend. I credit Relief Factor for making all of those activities pain-free. And as America celebrates 250 years of independence, give yourself a chance to reclaim yours. To commemorate, they're offering a special patriotic price, just $17.76. Yeah. So you can pursue your happiness being pain-free. Your $17.76 3-week quick start is ready for you. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4-RELIEF. That's ReliefFactor.com or 800-4-RELIEF.
With the actions he's taken, Jacob Fry is making Minneapolis a clown town. Ice fries a bows, and while Tim Walz is dozing, city has become a clown town. Ilhan Omar's hiding fraud, Keith Ellison's obstructing a war on law enforcement. Jacob Fry's conducting. Tampon Tim is so incompetent. Most Minnesotans want no more of him. It's a clown town, Minneapolis, clown town. It's far from fabulous, clown town. Once great cities become clown town, clown town.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Ghost Bed. I love my Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you're already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's exactly why I switched to Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed keeps you cool all night. No waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. Incredible support. Less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is offering my audience an extra 10% off. With financing, some Ghost Beds come out to around $1 a day. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson.
Now back to the Rob Carson Show, presented by Paramount Plus.
Hey, Rob, rev your engine up.
Come on. This is not an EV. And it never will be. But I do hope to live in a nice little community where they get around in golf carts. You know, and it doesn't mean like you for old people. I mean, a lot of people are just doing that. I've got a niece. She lives in a neighborhood in Kansas, and they get around in golf carts. It's a pretty dang cool place, man. You got to drive your golf cart. I want to get one that looks like a Hummer. I want to do with maybe camouflage. I want to get there eventually. I live in an apartment now. I was having a discussion with a friend, very cool woman, fantastic human being. I've known her for 20 years. Gotten to know her again more than ever here. Marvelous human being. Can kick my butt with humor. I won't mention her name. Damn. But I'm talking with her. And, she likes to, collect things and whatnot. And I mentioned last night that I got rid of everything. When I moved here to Washington, D.C., not only did I, come here to be a part of this history and share it with you, I left everything material behind. 30 years of marriage. Everything. I said, I just want the pictures. I just want pictures. I got a few little things. I even left my damn toolbox. I know, but fortunately I had 3 of them, very big ones. I have 4 plates. I have 4 salad plates. I have 4 bowls. I have 1 set of silverware. I have 4 drink glasses. I have 4 tall glasses. I have a couple of little stemless wine glasses for when I have company over, but I have no wine glasses. I have a ghost bed. Thank you very much. I have a dresser. I have a little credenza in the living room that I bought here, and I have a mattress and not a mattress, but a sectional that I brought with me. It was vacuum sealed, and you pop it open, and it's that's what I have, and my clothes. That's what I have, and it's an interesting thing. It is an interesting thing to cast off those things, but I felt like I didn't need it. It didn't mean anything. It's still time to digest it, but I knew that I didn't want it or need it. It's kind of interesting. It's interesting to live in an apartment that probably is, I don't know, it's 800, maybe less, maybe 600 square feet. It's not very big. It's 1 bedroom with a loft. That's where I am now. It's an odd thing. It's a good thing. It is a good thing because I'm here and you're here with me. And when people come here, they really, really, now, if you don't live here, if you weren't raised here, when you leave, you long to return.
We owe America a huge apology because America is nothing like what the media tells us. Everyone is so friendly, everyone is so accommodating, and I've honestly had the best time. I fly home Sunday and the English have a song where we say, please don't take me home, I just don't want to go to work, let me stay here and drink all your beer. And I've never resonated with that song more than in America for this World Cup. I wish I could stay and finish the tournament watching England. So if anyone is out there that can help me make this happen.
I would exchange you 1,000 times over for Joy Reid.
There's a duality to 4th of July that is hard to reconcile if you think about it too much. It's like indigenous people on Thanksgiving. Like, they're like, yeah, but y'all are celebrating that, but this is actually our Nakba. Okay, you're celebrating our.
Yeah, actually, no. They've got airplanes to fly around in and cars now, and they live longer now.
Destruction of all of our lands,
and they weren't alive back then, so
y'all think all we did was give you corn. So they're like, it's not cute to us, but so y'all go ahead and celebrate your Thanksgiving. We're not giving thanks.
Hey, there, she's getting all girlfriend now.
Okay. And the black people feel that way about 4th of July. Whereas Juneteenth, to me, is the real thing that 4th of July is, because we really were not a democracy until we ended slavery.
Yeah, this is Glenn Beck rebuffing the idiocy and America hate of Joy Reid.
One of the best friends of Abraham Lincoln. One of his best friends was Frederick Douglass.
What?
Which brings me to Frederick Douglass.
White people can't be friends?
Then to say, did you know that Frederick Douglass once hated the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution? He felt like you did.
Really?
Then he read it. I recommend it. Then he read it.
Yeah.
And he realized, wait a minute, this is not an instrument of oppression. This is the greatest slave-ending document of all time.
It did, yeah.
The same conclusion that Martin Luther King came to.
Yeah.
Black people were not free until the Civil War. And it's the first time in history white people fought for the freedom of black people and got slaughtered.
When I went to Gettysburg 2 weeks ago with listeners and listened to this guy named Jim Miller talking about Gettysburg, and 160 field hospitals popped up. And for months, they were amputating limbs afterwards. And there was a story of a 13-year-old girl who essentially became a nurse. But her starting role was to haul away the limbs that had been severed to be cremated or buried. And there was one building that we drove by that was a field hospital, and they said the pile of limbs severed were as 9 feet high. And you should go. You should go to Gettysburg. You should realize what happened there. Joy Reid, she's a fool. She's a spoiled, entitled child, a worthless human being. And I would recommend you go. I'm here. And by the way, I'll mention real quick. I think we have a few more spaces available for the trip. Travelwithrob.net. Just go there, travelwithrob.net. I'm just throwing that in there because if we have some spaces available, I would encourage you to come because the fair is going on and all of this, and then October 25th through the 29th is when we're doing this trip. Travelwithrob.net. Travelwithrob.net. But Joy Reid is a spoiled, entitled child who's never worked a day in her life. Joy Reid says that calls Nick's boss, James Dolan, a plantation owner for accepting Trump's White House invite, says it hurts her heart. She doesn't have a heart. Outrageously compared New York Knicks owner James Dolan to a plantation owner for accepting President Trump's invitation, saying it hurts my heart to think of the players being forced to visit the White House. What an asinine and horrible thing to say. These are proud men, by the way. They play together. They have been playing together for decades. And how dare you cast your aspersions, you psychotic feminist communists, on these men. My God, this is the problem with the left. And a lot of it comes from you mouthy socialist cat ladies. Shut up. Dolan definitely comes across as a plantation owner character, and the fact that he would want to see these proud black men, yes, sir, sirring a racist president hurts my heart so much to even think about it. She said this during her idiotic podcast. It wouldn't be their fault, but it would be so to me demeaning. Unbelievable. And then, of course, there's just Jamel Hill, who is a psycho. Atlantic writer Jamel Hill, guest on the show, agreed with Reid. Dolan is purposely putting them in the line of fire of an administration that has been openly hostile towards black folks. Not at all. He's a champion of particularly of black athletes over the decades, and certainly a Knicks fan. Hill said Dolan's acceptance of the invite seemed slavey, adding there's a perverse thrill that comes with making black athletes, especially black men, look subservient, and that's what this is. This is honestly just so bloody disgusting and fake and awful. And the only reason I bring it up is to just make you realize what a wretched individual this person is. This is why she doesn't have a job anymore. This is why she's doing a podcast. And hopefully she will just disappear into the dustbin of history like the rest of these idiots. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. So Whoopi Goldberg is telling the Knicks to use their NBA championship White House visit as a protest. You notice these are liberal women, cat ladies. They're telling the men how to, honestly, you have no sway in this at all. They don't care about you. I want all those black men to stand in our house and remind all of those people, Goldberg said, that when you try to destroy one part of history, you're destroying all of our history. It makes no sense. What you're spewing is nonsense. It's so stupid. You are. Batya Ungar-Sargon is one of my favorite people. I found this little sound bites floating around of her talking about a Harvard study that shows that Democrats speak slower to black people because they look at them as unintelligent. And this is a real study. And it's unbelievable. And I decided to add some audio to it. I want you to listen to Batya Ungar-Sargon. These are her words, by the way, in a study that came out from Yale.
There's a difference between how white liberals and white conservatives talk to black people. Now, I remember when I saw the headline, I thought to myself, I'm on the left, I'm a woke person. I thought to myself, we got him. And I'm looking at this study, and the study found that white liberals, when they talk to blacks, they dumb down their vocabulary.
I'm going to have an example. I don't believe
they use smaller words than when they talk to white people.
Really?
And white conservatives don't do this. And I remember looking at that and going, and we call conservatives racist?
I need an example.
I don't feel no way tired.
Okay.
I come too far from where I started from.
Okay.
Nobody told me that the road would be easy.
That's true.
I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
Wow.
And we know. What could be more racist than that? It had such a deep impact on me. Especially
maybe you said you carry hot sauce in your purse.
Because I've always thought of myself as, I'm an American Jew. I'm on the side of black Americans. Like
I'm going to need another example.
It's our job that we've always been there.
What example?
And yet here we are developing this as leftists, this mentality where we think that they're less intelligent. We have to dumb down our vocabulary.
He's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Okay, well,
I was so horrified by that. And it really did start like a whole shift for me.
That is kind of true. Yeah. I want to talk just a little bit about The View.
Pick a little, talk a lot. Pick a little, talk a little. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little. Pick a little, talk a little. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little. Pick a little, talk a little. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little. Pick a little, talk. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little. Pick a little, talk a little. Cheap, 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 cheap.
Now, the only reason I bring this up is there's a meme going around of J.D. Vance on the View. And they replaced the Viewcast with chickens. And I came up with that like years ago and did that. So I wanted to bring that. But Sarah Haynes actually brought up the fact that in New York City, they've elected 3 anti-Semites. The legitimate anti-Semites who hate Israel, want Israel wiped off the map. They do. They want Israel wiped off the map. They are socialist anti-Semites. That usually means Nazi. I mean, seriously. The German Socialist Workers' Party. Yeah. And then they throw in the anti-Semitism. You see what I mean? But here is Sarah Haynes, actually, I can't believe it, saying something commonsensical.
Is ousting anti-Semites. And one thing I would say is I just read a fascinating article this morning. It was talking about how one party is ousting anti-Semites and one party is electing them.
Wow.
And I would say that this article raised great points. Avila Chevalier, however you say her name.
Chevalier is it actually.
She was at a pro-Palestine rally prompting Hamas and celebrating that on October 8th.
Yeah, the day after October the 7th.
Of 2023.
Yeah.
These people are not afraid to, they don't only not denounce, they actually espouse these beliefs that everything Israel does has influenced our world.
That's not going to fly in New York City.
Well, it is right now, actually.
You're not implying that being pro-Palestinian and...
No, there were pro-Hamas chants on October 8th. October 8th, the only thing that had happened is that Israel had been attacked and people had been brutally murdered and raped.
Yeah, babies baked in ovens.
So on October 8th, I don't think think there needed to be rallies cheering on Hamas.
You're calling her an anti-Semite?
Yeah. I'm going to full-blown call her an anti-Semite. She would proudly...
Yeah, because she's a freaking anti-Semite. Duh, more from Sarah Haynes.
Dan Goldman, who we just spoke about, was refused coffee at a coffee shop because they said, we don't want money from this individual American human showing up at a coffee shop because they think it comes from AIPAC in Israel. When we start normalizing these crazy
Is Brad Lander
conspiracy...
an anti-Semite?
I'm not, but just listen to who I'm talking about. Yeah. He was refused coffee over someone saying,
vandalized.
Yes.
So wait a minute.
The other harpies, I mean, the hosts, they're like, oh no, don't worry about it. They're the ones who always, pound on the doors of the ark as the rain comes down.
Wait a minute. So one coffee shop is normalizing it?
No,
it's only one coffee shop.
This was vandalized.
It only just starts with one coffee shop and then everything burns down.
With anti-Semitic slurs in New York.
Like one thing I would say the right is doing right now is the extreme right and the extreme left are meeting about anti-Semitism. They hide under the cloak of we're criticizing Israel, which
there are fewer on the extreme right, like Tucker Carlson.
Some people who criticize Israel are not anti-Semites. All anti-Semites criticize Israel and use it as cover. As you always say, a racist doesn't say, hey, I'm a racist. They also don't say, hey, I'm an anti-Semite.
But all of that does not bring down the cost of bread, which is what people are focused on.
Oh, my God. So she says they would even have a Nazi, anti-Semite, socialist, communist in office because bread's too high. My God, woman. How many times do we need to have history repeat itself before clueless morons like you get it? Well, you never will. You never will. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson with another great deal from Birch Gold. Buy some gold. Put some... How are ya? Hello. Dookie Bear. Coffee. It's coffee. Oh, you think a Chevalier should be Cheva Shit Show? Good to see you there, Dookie Bear and Scarecrow, you guys. All you guys watching on X as well. We need to get that chat going. Guys, darn it, what's the deal with the chat on X? What's wrong with you people? What's wrong with you? Anyway, what else are we watching over here? Let's go to YouTubeage. YouTubeage, Deplorable Dinosaur, among others. Scott Davies, hello. Leslie Lederhawk. Yes, one of your favorite songs for the Music Man. It's kind of nice to have somebody who has a musical knowledge, because I did a lot of theater and whatnot. I did a lot of theater and a lot of music, and I know I have an extensive knowledge of music. A lot of times when you listen to the show, a lot of the songs that Jim does are standards, and the reason why they are standards is because they are, even if they're not recognizable, they're evergreen. New York is evergreen. There's no business like showbiz is evergreen, meaning that you can make a standard song can be about anything, a piece of comedy. And like when it comes to a musical number like this, we've done stuff from Fiddler on the Roof. We've done stuff from Oklahoma. We've done stuff from all sorts of music, from South Park, for God's sake. But it's a great way to do satire that people can, if not recognize, at least not be put off by the tune and all that. Here we go. So, you want to hear something that'll make you smile? This is Mark Wayne Mullen, DHS Secretary, being grilled by Rose DeLauro, who is proof of alien life on the planet. I mean, she is, honestly. End of discussion. End of discussion. Did they visit us? Oh, no. Rose DeLauro. Oh, God, yeah, you're right. So anyway, Rose DeLauro was trying to grill him on Donald Trump, separating children from their families by deporting illegal aliens. And he said, hey, how about those hundreds of thousands of kids who were separated from their parents and trafficked for sex and labor across our southern border? Oh, here, hold on. I got to line it up. I got to pot it up because I run my own audio. Here we go. Here's the exchange.
3,900 children were separated from their families.
450,000 kids were lost during the Biden administration. You didn't say a word about it.
Mr. Secretary, do not interrupt.
Don't you point your finger at me. Don't
I
be a
will
hypocrite.
point my finger.
Don't you point your finger at me, you craggly old picture. She's got like E.T. fingers. She's got like the two fingers and then the thumb, and she tries to pick up Reese's Pieces with them.
You should be a hypocrite then. Then you be as you should be as upset about the 450,000 kids that were lost. You didn't say a word about it. For 4 years, you never said a word.
Mr. Secretary.
Could you put him in his place for
Don't yell at me.
You should be put in your place.
Boom! Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Take away her Reese's Pieces. Take away her Reese's Pieces. Should have never rolled that baseball in the backyard near the shed with the light. Gosh darn it. She came out and got the Reese's Pieces. She's been here ever since. So I decided to cash in a 401k, and I bought gold with it. And the reason being is I looked at the 10 years of the last 10 years with the price of gold, and I said, I'm going to be sitting on this for 10 years. Let's let it ride. So I did it with Birch Gold. That's why I did it. Because 10 years ago, gold was $1,200 an ounce. Right now, it's over $4,000. It's been a little bit higher. It's going to go higher, and I'm going to let it ride. So I decided to invest that money in Birch Gold. You should do the same if your 401k is just laying there. If your IRA is just laying there, diversify. Gold is a great way to do it. Right now, Birch Gold giving you a special America $250 1-ounce silver round for every $10,000 you purchase. That's just a little spiff. It's a spiff. Text Rob to 989898 to take advantage of free America $250 silver with a qualifying purchase. Do it by July 10th, okay? Again, text Rob to the number 989898 for Birch Gold. Excuse me. Got a little something going on there. But do it. Let it ride. Let it ride. And I'll meet you in 10 years and we'll party. We'll party, ladies and gentlemen, when we cash in our gold in 10 years. Oh, my God, it's going to be glorious. It's going to be glorious. That is going to do it for the show today. I think we had a pretty darn good show. As always, make sure to go to your usual podcast platforms and download it because Deplorabella was on today and there was just a lot of real good stuff. Really, really good stuff. This is why the number 10 political commentary podcast in America and growing. Thank you. God bless you. America's founded Donald Trump. He's doing a great job. And, of course, until tomorrow, which by the grace of God is finally Friday, do not catch the stupid like Rose DeLauro. Okay? Yeah, and don't eat those M&Ms if she's touched them.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.